It's the Wow Show, Women on Women. I'm Shazmin Shamsuddin.
I'm Joanne Campopo.
And I'm Ning by Zura.
And we talk about a lot of things on this
man.
show. We talk about it quite openly. We've talked about sex. We've talked about love and relationships, menopause, mental health.
Yep.
But something we have not discussed quite openly, and it's not a topic that many people discuss openly, is about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Maybe it's because we don't have enough.
Jangan. Itu law of attraction.
We have a lot. Do it and dignity.
Yeah, I mean, let's
Yes.
be real, because a lot of the time we've all kind of grown up in a setting at home where we don't talk about money. Our parents didn't kind of discuss their finances with us. So I don't know.
Maybe it's an Asian culture. It is a very Asian for us not to discuss money at home. You know, I grew up where we don't talk about it until much, much later on. You know, when you're having difficulties, then your parents say, okay, we have to save, or we cannot eat out every night, things like that. But it's not a round table kind of conversation.
It's
Right.
intimidating, isn't it? I think for me, I feel like my family is the same thing. That's just on a general level. But no one in my family was actually saying, okay, let's budget. So if you budget, if I knew, what I knew now, my father never really put lay down the rules of like, okay, this is how much you have to budget, this is how much you have to save. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah. I think it's important to normalize financial conversations within the family, with your children, especially because, I didn't grow up talking about money until I was in my 20s. And then my father was like, oh, I think you should set aside this to invest and this and that. And of course, as a 20-something-year-old who's just started to get a salary, you're like, no, I'm going to spend it all this weekend.
Yes,
Yes.
because next weekend it's a whole new day.
Exactly. So I think, when we explore those kind of ways that we grew up, I'm just wondering whether or not it has impacted how we kind of relate with our partners about money, with our children about money. Do you discuss with your daughter?
Well, the thing is, I remember only discussing money much later on when I was 16, 17, and 18, when my dad had passed. When my dad was still around, I do remember budgeting because at one point, we had maids, we had cooks, and then after that, everyone was let go because dad wasn't making as much. And when my father passed away, my mom was alone. She was a housewife. So that even at that time, I knew the value of money, because at that time there was we couldn't afford the washing lady, we couldn't afford the driver, we couldn't even afford the bus sekolah. We had to walk. And then at 16, I'm like, you want me to walk to school now? And I remember as well because my mom don't cook, right? So when we were growing up, we had cooks. My father was an editor of New Trades Time. So we had the company house, we had drivers, we had cooks. My mom never cooked. So when my dad passed away, my mom still didn't cook, but we didn't have the luxury of, the washing lady, the cleaners and all that. And that's when I realized, okay, so all this was because during my dad's, when my dad was alive, we had his salary. But now that my mom is on her own, we are left to our own devices. I had to learn how to cook. That's why I can cook up to today. And my sister had to take up cleaning the house and washing clothes. And at 10 and 16, to wash our own clothes when we've always had washing lady, or wash. There was no washing machine at that time. So that's when I realized, okay.
Oh my God. How old are you, Joanne?
16. At 16. At 16.
Okay.
My father passed away.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring this up is
Yeah.
because you said you didn't have washing machines at the time. You had a washer lady.
Yeah,
for a lot of our
washer lady,
younger.
because,
They would
Yes, I am that old. There was no washing machine.
We're the same age almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The machine cucian.
Yeah.
Cuci lah
Okay.
sendiri,
So
true.
what about yourself? Like, did you grow up kind of discussing? Okay, this is for the future.
No.
These are the plans.
I think because I was pretty much growing up in a broken family. So my mom was already like a single mom, even though she was not. She was still married, but she was taking care of the first wife's club, and also she's the second. So it was more like she's the provider, and I realized that from a very young age, she's working hard because she's a teacher. Gaji pun RM700 macam tu je kot, time tu. It's not a lot. And then here she is, tuition, okay, maths, English tuition. So it's non-stop for her. She's baking. And plus she's also taking care of the first wife's children. My father was hardly around because he was too busy with the third
Third wife.
third wife. Well, the thing is, nobody actually in my family, because I have to say that we're not that. Kita bukan orang kaya lah. So we were like just a government. My mother's a government service. So it was just like, at that point, I knew already that I have to take her out from the house. So no matter what, even if I finish school, if I get a scholarship pun, I won't go because I am going to look for money.
Right.
So that was my point of view about, no, I got to make her happy. I got to make sure that I'm the sole provider, which I still am, and I find that I had to learn the hard way because I didn't know how to deal with money.
Yeah.
Even then, when I first started, okay lah, my first gaji was like RM50 nyanyi setengah jam somewhere, But then I collected, kumpul duit, and then I managed to take her out from the house. So for me, I had to learn the hard way. There was no access for me to understand, this is how it's supposed to be. But you have to save.
But I think that kind of, was a positive thing for you.
Yeah.
And you both. I mean, you started your careers fairly early to enable yourself to become financially...
To be financially sufficient because
we have to.
Yeah, even if I wanted to go to college or university, there was no money.
Yeah.
There was no money to go to Form 6. So it's like, okay, you go out there, you work at whatever you can get. I still remember my first job was as a John Masters sales girl in some JB shopping center. But money was... But you see, the thing is that they never discuss money with us until...
Something bad happens?
There was no more money.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
True.
I mean, but I think it's also a very Asian culture. You don't talk about money with your kids.
Yeah.
You don't say, like, okay, we need to budget. Mom's earning this much. So, okay, fine, this week.
Yeah.
And I think now you can do that because it's also... When I was growing up in Ipoh, that was the highlight of my dad's career. He was a member of the Royal Ipoh Club, which the Royal Ipoh Club is patronized by the Sultan of Perak at that time. And because he was the editor of New Straits Time, all his friends were from the club. And they were business owners and all that. And every weekend, it will be Saturday night at the club.
Events, parties.
At the club, where all these Dato and Datins were there. So let's put it into perspective. Like, okay, let's talk about money. I grew up watching my mom go to smaller boutiques because, of course, she still have to live that life because of my dad. But we couldn't afford the real jewels. We couldn't afford the car. We couldn't afford the bungalows. All right. But we make do with what my dad's company had. And they gave us a big bungalow, but they also gave us like the maids and the drivers. And my mom had to live that life for a while. So she was very smart and, okay, if I cannot buy this expensive dress from this boutique, I'll go and find like the cheaper dress. But she still had to maintain the image because my dad was in that circle. So it's also, if you look at the Asian culture at that time, and even now, it's the image as well. Even if you look at what's happening, like if you're a social media content creator, How many social media content creators actually get paid? Not
Yeah.
in freebies, all right? But you still need to live the life of that content creator.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It is pretty exhausting.
I heard some stories about how these people would have to like borrow people's cars or
Yeah.
borrow their houses
Yep.
just
To
to
shoot.
show a certain level of, lifestyle.
Yes, lifestyle. It is.
That's
you know,
exhausting.
even now more so. So I think with money, like you never hear people talking about budgets or anything like within the family. I think it's a very husband and wife situation. Mom and dad will
I think
talk.
also because you don't want to stress your kid out. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
that's one
you
thing
just
as
want them
well.
to focus on their studies, do well, so that when the money's to be had, then you can go off and get an education and be a
Yeah.
Because these are real life
Yes.
situations.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that we work ourselves to better our children's life.
Yes.
yeah.
And I see that in my friends who have worked so much and send their kids to UK and
Yeah,
all that.
it's a lot of money,
But the
yeah.
thing is, their kids, because they've been sheltered,
Yeah.
we don't discuss this with our
Yeah.
children. So they've been sheltered and they're spending their mom's money, their parents' money.
Yep.
They have the audacity to wake up and like, oh, I do not want to be in this class anymore.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
Actually, dangerous.
So perhaps,
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is to involve them
Yes.
in decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to explain to them like, okay, in order to do this,
Yes.
we have to take on this extra, but because we love you, but understand that this is what we need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do not want you to stop studying or anything.
Yeah.
Don't worry, but understand that whatever that we
There
give
was some
you,
sacrifice here.
there's some sacrifice because
Sacrifices,
I
yeah.
see like kids who have no issue about money because they come from very good families and they are spoiled because they don't know the value.
Yeah.
Because they get
I agree,
a
actually.
weekly allowance, and some weekly allowance is like almost 2,000, okay?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so you know how much that parent
Yeah,
is making
yeah.
in that house. But they come with not knowing, they have never
Silver spoon.
they've never had 50 ringgit in their bank account. It's like, oh, okay, I need to wait one more month until my parents give me. So how am I going to survive with 50 ringgit?
Yeah.
They've never had that, They've never. So perhaps it is time to, reanalyze how we talk to our children about money and not scare them, not
Yeah,
scare them, but they have to wake up and understand, yes, we cannot go holiday. We cannot go international holiday, but we can go Malaysian holiday.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So I cannot bring you to Japan. I bring you lah, genting.
Yeah.
So it's still the upbringing lah. I think
Yeah.
by
It's-
the end of
it's-
the day.
yeah.
Yeah, kan?
I wish,
Parents would.
for me, I wish my dad or my mom had that conversation with me before one parent died. And then I realized, oh, now they want me to walk. Now I have to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
And then because I'm the Feifei in the family, right? My sister was still. It's like, of course, yeah, I will learn how to cook because I want to eat good.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And because we had a task, it's like, okay, so no more washing lady. You either wash clothes, clean the house, or cook. One sister take one. So every time she cook, my sister, she will burn the chicken. Already as it is, we don't have enough money to
Yeah.
like chicken every day. And I'm like, please, for my sanity and my own weight, let me
me
be
cook.
the cook.
Yeah.
And I will go and I will buy cookbook because at that time no internet no handphone. I will get
Sendiri lah.
cookbooks
Self-taught.
from the
Okay.
library.
Okay.
And I still remember watching TV. TV was the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
Cook with Yan.
Walk with Yan.
Walk with
Yan.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
It's
remember
like,
that
I told
show.
myself, I said, oh, okay, Joanne, if you really like food, maybe you should take cooking because you're already at this is once 1 week like our meeting is like, oh, weekend you can have chicken. Other than that, tofu.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was a drastic change. I mean, I'm come from from like when we were Ipoh, when we
Yeah.
were living it, we had like the car, of course, all paid for by the newspaper.
Yeah.
We had the car, we had the driver, we had the makcik cooking, we had gardener, we had 8 dogs. And then all of a sudden go to JB like, okay, it's a small house. Then when my father passed away, okay, that's it. Everything don't have. Go to school.
Yeah, that's tough. It's usually a life-changing incident that, brings this
But it
conversation
wasn't
to the
gradual.
fore.
It was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah. No, to be honest, the same thing. Growing up, very loose conversations about money, more on the don't spend it all in one
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
save la, put in
Yeah.
your ASB. These are the extent of the conversations. And I grew up with a father who made all the money and mother who stayed at home. And, it was a fairly comfortable childhood. And then I got married and expected the same
From
kind
your
of
family.
deal with my husband.
And it was a no deal.
It was a no deal because I ended up being, the sole provider and the one who's stressed out and the one who's paying bills and the one who's doing everything. And all because I think I wasn't open enough to discuss my expectations about, financial equality or responsibilities within this marriage. And also because, well, obviously he lied to my face about so many things. But anyway, story for another episode. But I guess not knowing the full disclosure of your partner's finances and financial responsibilities, So in the end, it was, I suppose, silence on my part. I mean, my family, my parents and my sisters, my brother, they didn't know what I was going through, being the one.
But it wouldn't be something that you want to
No.
go to your
Friends
even
and
your
say,
friends.
I'm in debt, right?
I'm in
Yeah,
debt.
yeah.
I don't
No,
have
no.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable
Conversation. Yes.
conversation.
It's probably our Asian thing
yeah.
as well.
It is.
And
It
because
is.
you
And
don't,
you just soldier on and try to get yourself out of it.
well, also because in our culture we don't.
We have to
what
save
was it?
face.
Yeah, save face, and we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
wash our laundry
In public.
Or
in
put underneath the
public.
carpet.
Yeah.
Because and
Yeah.
also a lot of time
Yeah.
people are very superficial friends.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Money
Oh,
laundering,
they love
they
it when
Oh,
they hear
wait,
about
wait,
your
wait.
tragedies,
Yeah.
No. When you talk about what's real, like I had a hot pot. This one, everyone was talking how great they were doing with their husband. They're leaving, and I said, so I twisted a little bit. I said, during pandemic, I was really. I told them
Yeah.
that I had only 600 ringgit left. I was going to be evicted, and it's a very hard subject. When you're going out with friends, they can only hear you, but they don't know how to support you.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So for
Yeah.
them, it's like, oh, shoot. Okay, so now what?
Next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Change
so,
the topic.
So
Yeah.
I think
It's
now
uncomfortable for people, can't to talk about it?
I have seen friends talking
Yeah.
about investments. Okay, money and
Correct.
all that.
Yeah.
So perhaps it is what we talk about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have. My story is not me alone. I'm sure there are other people that, like you as well, became the sole provider, where everyone thought that your husband would at least be.
Oh,
on
they
par.
thought he was the hero of the story.
the hero
Nobody
lah.
suspected it was me. People thought I was doing my radio job, because it was just a fun thing to do. And I'm like, no, that job paid all the bills.
Yeah.
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 And people were shocked, like, post-divorce and the truth is starting to come out, that
He wasn't doing his part.
I endured all this.
that-
But
No,
you
and
put
you
up
know.
with it.
I did put up with it. I had young
Yeah.
children, and I wanted to make
Yes,
sure
because
that
of the children,
But
right?
at some point, you know what? You got to do things for yourself, and you
Yes.
got to live for yourself. And I think
Dignity.
it was also easier for me to start talking about money, about this experience with other women, and discover that I wasn't the only one
Yep.
who went through this. Honestly, there's so many women.
There's so
I
many
think a
women
lot
out
of
there.
times, if you don't open up the conversation,
Yeah.
they're not going to divulge their
No,
ad.
no.
Who's
Why
go-
would you? Why would you?
Who's gonna come to a high tea party and say, hey, so your husband got pay you monthly allowance that he's supposed to pay for the kids?
Nafkah. Konon.
But weird,
No one wants to hear that. But I guess when,
Yeah.
just like you as well,
Yeah.
if they are real friends and you start opening up, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
then what I have learned recently is right now, like a lot of women are getting smarter about money, which is great. During my mom generation, it's like when my father passed away, it's like, oh my God, everything comes crumbling down. But right now, women are more in tune. Women are more educated. Women are also more
Empowered.
empowered and discovering for themselves
Yeah.
that they have to keep their own money.
Yeah.
That my money is my money, my investment. Lokong, yours is yours.
Yeah.
But whatever you make, I also get 50%.
Actually, it's interesting you should mention that because my grandmother, my mother, all the women on my mother's side, they always said that, you know what? Yes, it's okay. You make money, it's okay, it's fine, but keep
What's
aside.
yours is yours.
Yes.
Not so much. Well, I
No.
don't. No,
What's
keep
mine is
aside.
Yes,
Keep aside
yes,
some
yes.
money, some gold that no one knows about.
Yeah,
Just
for
keep it
savings.
quiet. It's yours. Kau tim.
And I do not believe in this.
I believe in this.
Yeah. I do not believe in this join thing.
No.
Like, because a lot of like families before, like I have a cousin who's like that. The minute they got married, okay, because he's
Joint
earning,
account.
join
Don't do it,
account.
ladies.
And then when things get ugly, he withdraws everything.
Yeah.
And they can do that, you know. And she had nothing. I said, don't you even have your own savings account? Your own?
That's
No, I'm like,
dangerous.
kau ni bodoh ke bodoh?
Yes.
You know, like you cannot expect, just because you have children with him, that he's going to like be not mean about it, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah. Okay, so with discussions on money, there's also discussions about debt.
Yes.
And sometimes, we don't like to talk about
In my
this.
household,
Yeah.
we talk about it.
Yeah?
I think it's because my husband being who he is and maybe he's more open, I don't want to label him as whatever masalih ke apa, but he's educated me about Ning, take over your own finances. So when we first started dating, that was when I realized, what am I doing? I can start my own company. So it was 2006. I decided to potong cake with my, this is the last manager that I had. And he said, Ning, you know what you're doing. So you need to take control of your own finances, which I did. Which I did. And I'm so glad I did it. But I was afraid to do it. But then again, if it's not because of him. So at home, we talk about, so here are our debts. Here are what we're paying for. This is how much the mortgage is. Every month I see the whole chart. I think it should be as good as that.
Yeah.
This is how much we're paying for this house. This is at the end of the day, I'm only left with 2,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
So, I make my own money. He's been paying for most of it, but I contribute.
Yeah.
So because I know I can only contribute so much. Kita punya job is ups and downs, kan?
Yeah.
So he doesn't ask me to pay for much, but I do buy the groceries. It's gotta have there's a balance.
Yeah, I think just even talking about it, a lot of young people go into a marriage not discussing
Oh, that's dangerous.
what they can bring to the table, and also importantly that they don't discuss the debt that they already have.
Oh, yeah.
So they bring that into a marriage quietly, and then suddenly your spouse discovers, oh my God,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
you've roped me in. I'm part of this now, and
How are we going to solve this?
yes,
Cari along.
no, don't cari along, okay?
This is what most Malaysians would do, but
Yeah.
that's dangerous, right?
Yeah. No, as I mean, much older and wiser, hopefully women, we won't be doing this
Yeah.
shit
No,
anymore,
no,
okay?
no.
It's like,
That was what my mother did.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like old people out, they would do that. So before
Yeah.
we get into that, we should tell our partner, dude, actually, I got this debt, I've got this. I think it's more relevant.
yeah.
You got to talk about it,
Do you discuss the finances with any potential partners? There's no need to, right?
The plant is my potential.
that plant?
I don't have long enough partners for me to discuss that. But I do discuss that with my daughter. Ever since pandemic happened, because that really, she really found out that, okay, mom's not making enough. We had to send kakak home. Okay, the pandemic, I think, taught a lot of people as well, that money, how do you stretch that money for 2 years when nothing's coming in? What do you need to do? So you need to pivot. And I pivot into my pork business, which lasted for about 2-3 years. And then when the whole entertainment things kick in again, I left that for a side. For every festive like Chinese New Year, then we do that. So with my daughter now, because of what happened in the pandemic and the fact that we were so low on funds and, we were going to be evicted, she kind of finally realized, okay. And then when I started my food business, she helped to pack and all that.
Yeah.
And that was when we saw the
good.
light.
Yeah.
So now what she's very clever is that she has a budget she budgets herself and she saves. So this was because from pandemic onwards, she's been seeing how hard it was to rebuild on our side. And I'm like, okay, mom's good this month because I've got 4 shows. Okay, so we can afford a little bit of this. Then recently, right now as well, I say we cannot do expensive food. When I mean expensive, it's like going out to a normal cafe, but even now, things are getting more expensive. So we're talking about if you want to eat even in Nando's, it's at least 60 to 70 to 80. So for us right now, she's very good at right now, budgeting, where I give her a weekly allowance for college and she budgets that and she can stretch that for 2 weeks. So she's learned that on her own.
Yeah. What would you say was the emotional weight that came with this financial insecurity during this time, especially,
I think you can't be too upset about it. There's no I can't even blame myself. It's not, it can't be blamable. It's not, we didn't have access to investment. It's not like the investment, like even if you
or sit in front of the TV and go do your saham or whatever, right?
Correct. Tak ada. So, it was an emotional time, mentally more than emotionally, because like for me, I just have to figure out how do we survive? How do we stretch this? What's the other thing that I can do to make sure that this household survive?
Yeah.
So that's why for me, I wasn't afraid to try something totally different. Like I went, I got my break after I did from home deliveries, my roast pork, my roast pork, purpose crack business from the house. Everyone you saw so many women were resilient. They were all selling jelly selling cooking
I pun jual mak I punya sambal.
You jual you punya mak punya sambal. Because as entertainers, we were the first one hit. How are you going to do? You do online show. Online show, people buy and watch food. And especially comedy.
I was doing online teaching actually.
Kalau singing, teaching, okay.
Tapi tak banyak lah.
She was exposed to that during that period. So when we came out of it, she always asked me like, do we have enough? Do we have enough? Do we have enough? And then I'm very open with her. I'd say this month we do.
Okay.
All right. But
do you feel she's stressed?
Sometimes.
Yeah. About money. Because
kids do, right?
Yeah.
But
that's life.
She's now an adult. Right? She's 20.
Yeah.
If you don't stress them, I mean, I'm not saying you go and stress your 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13. But let them understand that money is a value. When mom and dad is good, we can have all this excess thing.
Course,
when we need to save, it's not that we're going to die. Just say, okay, this week we eat chap fan. This week we eat, roti canai. This week we eat mama. Okay, this week.
Okay.
Because it's not every day that you're going to say, okay, let's go to this cafe. oh, you want dessert? Oh, no. By that time, it's like 200 ringgit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some people don't have
The
don't have to
luxury.
be stressed with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's stressed. I think she grew up with right now being able and mindful about money. Because when she was growing up and I was in Capital FM, come on, morning shows, you know how much they pay us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, I had outside gigs, your
Yeah.
MCs and all that. So those were the days when she was 5 and 6. She was so spoiled.
Yeah.
Every Sunday had to be a Toys R Us day. She will not leave the what do you call this the toy shop until I buy her something. We had a maid. Holidays was Hong Kong. Was always Hong Kong because we visited our cousins. You know, she will only wear like cute little dresses. She was spoiled. She knew she was spoiled.
Yeah.
But then, of course, when COVID happened, and Kakak had to go back,
Yeah.
and then there was no money, you know, and then mom had to do this. That's when she
Yeah. But it's funny how you can actually, a lot of information is free out there.
Yes.
I've learned a lot on actually TikTok, on Instagram.
Can't
And
be
asking
surprised.
questions to
Podcast,
people in the
TikTok,
industry.
yeah.
You know, you just have to open your mouth. And opening your mouth is having these conversations that you might find a bit intimidating to have with
Yes.
perfect strangers or even the people who are closest to you, like your family, your friends, you know. And, I had to figure out some banking stuff that I didn't understand and I was so stressed about. And I, don't talk about my problems to anyone.
Yeah.
And then finally, I just sat my sisters down and I said, listen, guys, I have this problem.
Yeah.
What do I do? Tell me how to fix
face
this.
this.
Yeah.
How to
And they not only had great advice for me, they also had great support for me. And I'm glad I actually finally opened my mouth.
well, maybe the thing to learn about money is to ask people you trust. I mean, like in Asian mentality, we don't talk about money
Yeah.
to a lot of people because then you're scared, people
kind of,
judge you,
yeah.
right?
Yes,
Maybe like what
that was
guilt.
it. You're scared of being
Yeah.
judged. Like,
Scared
how
of
can you be
being-
so stupid?
Yeah, how can
You're
you be
50
so
already,
stupid?
you know. You
yeah.
don't know, man?
Ah,
That
you
one
don't
will
know.
be one auntie lah.
You don't know how to
no.
save. No need to be auntie. It can be
cousin
your same
auntie,
age. Macam mana kau bodoh
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
admitting that you have a problem is also
like what you did was very
Yeah.
good. You had that
Yeah.
problem, right?
Yeah.
But it took you a while to
It
talk
took
to.
me ages.
Yeah,
I
because-
wish I'd done this like 5 years ago.
We've always been taught that if we are not successful, the shame comes with it.
Yes.
Why are you not successful, Shaz?
Yeah.
You're in radio.
Yes,
Why are you not successful,
yes.
Ning? Kau
Yeah.
jual you punya satu lagu beribu-ribu.
berapa? Takkan you tak
takkan
save?
you tak ada duit.
savings. Yeah, true.
So perhaps it's talking about your girlfriends. I mean, talking that there needs to be a positive way
Yes.
to talk about money.
Yes.
Where it is not judgmental.
Or rude.
Or I would say
I
rude,
think you
but
have
some
to
people
also
are judgmental.
decide who your audience is. I mean,
Correct.
if you're speaking to someone about it,
Yeah.
it has to be someone you trust.
And someone that perhaps can give you
Can
sound
give
enough
you
advice.
exactly.
Yeah, what's the point of talking to people who also
Are in the same boat, lah.
on the same boat or
yeah.
don't know
How to
how
help.
to help to get you out of that situation?
So, what are some powerful ways to reclaim financial agency? Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I think to dig deep and look into what you can afford first or what you have, really just cut your coat according to your baju lah. Takkanlah macam, okay, at one point, I also was like very spendthrift, not knowing that, okay, my credit card is like going higher and higher. So you just gotta look at your budget, your salary, because kita punya salary macam kadang-kadang ada, kadang-kadang tak ada, kadang-kadang like banyak ni, kadang-kadang tak ada. Like the whole month of Ramadan memang tak ada show, so you just gotta know, okay, save this for this month so that next month I can like use that
you have
money
to
that
empower
I've saved.
yourself.
Empower it, but also you just gotta know, your instincts gotta know that this is how much I can afford, I can't. Kalau you have to go to some smaller place to buy grocery, just do it,
Oh, one thing also which I need to say.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell your girlfriends.
Yes,
That
talk
you
about it.
no, not talk about. If diorang nak pergi high tea
Oh,
or
yeah, kadang-kadang kena share.
if you don't have that
That
month,
budget.
Yeah.
just say I'm sorry, girls, I cannot
tell
go
them.
for high tea because this month I'm on a budget. If you all want to go, what do you call this place with roti kaya and all that, no problem.
I mean,
But I'm not. I cannot afford
Yeah.
this Sunday high tea. I'm sorry, but tell your friends because sometimes we are not mindful because sometimes we are in a friendships where everybody's working, everybody's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, and usually
Expectation of you
and
can
usually
afford.
for ladies circles sometimes they're like, okay, let's go to a nice place, nice Italian place.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the group you say, hey girls, sorry I cannot afford Italian this month cannot. This month mak punya budget lari. But if you nak makan nasi lemak hantu burung hantu nasi lemak Pak Ali semua okay, no problem. I belanja ada sotong.
yeah.
But sometimes and then they will come back. Oh, okay, tak apa. Let's go here, let's go there. Then they will find the cheaper options.
Yeah.
But you tell them, hey, I want to hang out. But mak tak ada.
Cheap and cheerful.
Cheap
I
and
call
cheerful.
it.
Don't need all these Sandrages, high tea semua, no need.
Let's go cheap
Yeah.
and cheerful.
Yeah, but just let your friends know. So it becomes a regular thing as
Normal,
well.
kan?
It's not that you don't love them, but
Yeah.
even for them also to be aware because sometimes these are women who like are
They
tie
don't-
ties.
Yeah, they don't work. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, they don't have a grasp on the reality.
Because for them
of
it's
normal
ladies.
people.
Yeah, ladies who lunch.
Yeah.
Ladies who lunch. And
stopped
then you're like, hey
doing
God,
that.
you have the 15.99, you know?
Jom pergi oyster and champagne lunch.
betul.
I'm like, I'm on a kaya tourist
Betul
budget.
kan?
Lepas lunch sampai pukul 5 je tak ada kerja ke?
Tak ada. Itu je dia orang kerja.
We're all working
Yeah,
women
but we
here.
are
Yeah.
Not lunching ladies. Well, okay, I guess the takeaway for today is that financial conversations can be difficult, but if you're open to opening yourself up
Yes.
Yeah.
and having real conversations,
Yeah.
it's actually to everyone's benefit.
It does, and
Yeah.
it
And start-
empowers you.
Yes.
Yeah. Start
You-
talking to your
yeah.
kids as well. I mean, don't stress them out, especially if they're younger than 15.
Yeah, don't.
But,
But
give
when
them a
they-
reality taste of
Yeah.
things.
I
I think
think
it's
when
good to talk about it.
when they
you know?
first, when you're a
Yeah.
teenager,
Yeah.
they have to start learning slowly. Slowly, you put them in the conversation.
Yes.
You say, okay, Mama's got this now. So how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like
correct.
like I'm going
Yeah,
away
correct.
again for shows this weekend. So I say, oh, so you need money or not? And then for next day, no, I save.
Wow.
And then she learned already. She's like, oh, my chap fund in my school is cheaper. I say, yeah lah, because you're student college. Because she clever already. She's like, okay, for 3 days, I will only take tofu and vegetable. And then on the 4th day, I will take the chicken. Because if I take the chicken will be $5. So she counts like that. Which is great because she's managing her. And right now, because she's 19, 20, it's perfect. Because when I'm no longer here, who's going to manage
Yeah,
your
correct.
money? You are not going to you're not going to be able to earn as much as me, first of all.
Yeah.
You know. So it's good because it teaches them
Yeah.
to be more mindful adults.
Yeah. Life is tough. Like my son is buying Pokemon cards when we go and travel, right? And you know that you make a lot of money from Pokemon by collecting.
Yes.
So I didn't realize that he actually sold one card for like quite a lot of some money on Carousel. Yeah, and all these
online.
I go, wow, where'd you get that money from? Remember the cards? So really, because my husband
That's
also
why
loves
if kids
collecting
can
cards.
find that,
Yeah.
if kids can
Yeah.
find out that and
They
do
know
it,
how to, yeah.
there are ways.
There
There
are
are
ways,
ways.
yeah.
You just need to figure out what
Yeah.
else.
And if you're having monetary issues or problems, if you open up to the
Seek
people you
advice,
trust,
yeah.
you never know what kind of insightful information and tips that will open up your mind to kind of exploring the various avenues of making money. So have that conversation. Don't be shy.
Yeah.